Welcome everyone, it's good to see you. Also welcome to those of you listening to this online. So today, maybe it's a good idea to talk a little bit about like structures, belief systems that might be serving you, that might not be serving you on the path, and how you have control over which kind of belief systems to release, which kind of belief systems to cultivate. A lot of people seem to think that ego is something really bad and it doesn't belong, and it's kind of that evil, devilish, demonic kind of thing inside of you that you need to get rid of. Ego is bad. Ego is the no-no. That is not true. Ego is a vehicle. It's a better way of thinking about it. Think of yourself, the sense of self, as a vehicle, not as an enemy. If you think of it as an enemy, you block yourself massively right away. If you are your own enemy, how can you ever spiritually progress? It's not possible. Right? There's more than enough people already being a severe enemy to themselves, so it's really important to drop that. And to recognize the power inside of yourself, actually. To empower yourself in the right way. The right way here means with a clear understanding of cause and result. Respecting that law, meaning when you create or recreate yourself in a useful kind of way, you always want to consider what are the results of these actions. Otherwise we might think, oh great, I can see myself in any which way I like. I can recreate, redesign my sense of self and my feeling and my thoughts and my beliefs and all of that. I have that freedom and power. It's a creative kind of power. But I'm using it for all kinds of things which will backfire later on and create problems and harm in my own life and in the life of many others. It's really important to make a clear distinction here, knowing, okay, if I do this, what are the results of that? For example, many people want to be happy. Some people consider happiness to be like a lifestyle of, getting drunk, taking drugs, going off to the islands and just hanging out in a hammock the whole day and drinking cocktails and, having nice girls around you or like handsome men or whatever it is, that kind of holiday vibe, that's what's nice, right? There's a lot of pictures that are sold to us every day on all those kind of products. If you walk through the supermarket, if you watch videos, if you see advertising, you can see that there's all kinds of things that are sold to you with the promise of making you happy. And since we all want to be happy, we all want to feel good, we have learned to connect our happiness to things, people, substances, whatever it is. So we stick our mind to those things, and so those things have power over us. If they fall away, if they go away, we suffer. If they become too much, we suffer. It's really important to understand that if you connect your happiness to certain things, then you also need to carry those things. Like that kind of happiness always comes at a price. Are you willing to pay that price? Is the outcome worth it? Think of doing this kind of thing that makes you happy for 5 more years, more consistently, more frequently. Who will you end up to be? Will you be more happy? What are the odds? How likely is it? Will you be more healthy? Will you have more energy? Will you be able to serve more? Or will you make a wholesome, positive, good impact on the world? Or will the opposite happen? Is it just kind of a selfish, indulgent in old habits due to not knowing better? We don't know. We don't know what we can do, and we don't know very often what kind of results come with our doing. This is, I think, one of the fundamental problems of this world or this realm. It is, even though everybody wants to be happy, we don't know the causes of happiness. And even though nobody wants to suffer, we don't know how not to suffer. Maybe it's due to that fact that Jesus said on the cross while he was executed, basically. He said, well, forgive them for they do not know what they do. It's this fundamental not knowing of what we are doing that gets us continuously into trouble. We believe certain things to be the source of happiness, then we pursue them only to find out that they create harm over and over and over again, and that happiness that we get from those things is kind of relatively short and insignificant. It doesn't have a real power. So we come to your sense of purpose. Why are you here? Why are you born? Why are you alive? You can choose that sense of purpose. You can make any kind of thing you want your purpose. What's your primary purpose? What is it? Why are you here? Why do you exist? What's this form for? Now, once you know that, you will naturally, secondary purposes evolve from that, and they always point back to the primary purpose. They support your primary purpose. Well, let's say if your primary purpose is the refinement of happiness, or, in other words, the release of suffering, then all the secondary purposes will line up with that. And you will start acting skillfully, naturally, aligned with cause and result. You'll do your meditation, you'll ask yourself after the session, like, what did that do right now? What is my trajectory here? If I keep doing that, what will happen, likely? What would my experience be? And of course you don't know the future. You don't know the results, but you can see a certain type of pattern emerge. And that's really important. But similarly, also you observe other things that you're doing in your daily life, habits like thinking habits or talking habits that might be highly destructive, that pull you down all the time, that put you into a victim position. Oh, poor me, if I didn't have that problem, I could be successful. That is very harmful. It puts you out of power, puts you into a totally powerless position. Could you change that into something that's a bit more skillful? Into better thoughts, better words, better actions. This is where we come to the self as a vehicle. It lifts the spirit, or it pulls it down, or it kind of covers it up. If you go the one way, it'll cover up your spirit. Go the other way, it will reveal it, and it will allow it to ascend. So you're kind of supporting yourself on the path. You're supporting spiritual growth. By the way, you govern yourself. So self is not the enemy. Please remember that's your best friend. Hopefully. Okay. If you have a very good friend, then that friend or your parent, they want the best for you. They truly want the best for you. It's not people that hang out with you as long as you're doing well and leave you when you're not doing well. That's not a real friend. These are people who hang around you like leeches because they somehow benefit from your presence. You're maybe amusing them. Maybe they feel comfortable around you. But as soon as that source of comfort is gone, they are gone. That's not friendship. A true friend is somebody that genuinely, and that's very rare, wants the best for you. And we don't know what's the best for anyone else, right? We never know. But we can know for ourselves what is truly the best for me right now. And you can investigate this question and go deeper. What is it that I really need right now? Not that I want, that I prefer, that I feel drawn to, but what do I actually need right now? We all know that. There is an inner knowing to that question. It's an answer to that question. You all know what you really need right now. You only need to pay attention. Many people don't pay attention to that because it's super uncomfortable very often. Because our actions, our words, our thoughts are so out of alignment with what we really need right now that it's often highly uncomfortable to face that split inside of ourselves. Our emotional being wants this, our thoughts want that, our ideals are over here, our actions are down there. Totally out of alignment. We might talk one way, talk very highly, You can talk about very high ideals. Oneness. You can talk about, the total realization of the primordial truth. Infinite consciousness. But it's not really, it doesn't have any power to it. It's just empty phrases. There's no use to them. So ask yourself, what do I really need? Where is there value for me right now? In which kind of actions, which kind of thoughts? How could I improve this moment? Spiritual doctrines that tell you that this moment is perfect and you are already perfect, even though they are true at some level, are very often totally misunderstood and become an excuse for laziness. Oh, I'm perfect already. Oh, this moment is perfect already. Nice. I think it was Suzuki Sensei, one of the Japanese masters, who said something along the lines of, you are already perfect and you can do with a little improvement. So there is both aspects in it. There is the aspect of perfection, which is inherent in every moment. True. But you have so many patterns within you that would dock on to such statements and use it as an excuse to not look. As an excuse to just let everything be. It's very attractive for a lot of people. This letting everything be thing. Not doing anything, not improving. Improvement is bad. You are perfect the way you are. You are a divine presence. Wow, it sounds so nice to a generation of people who are very often harboring the opinion that they haven't received any love, that they're unworthy, that, the school systems and the state and the governments constantly want something from them, and it's so much stress. And I kind of don't want to take responsibility also. It's very popular amongst millennials and stuff like that, yeah. This kind of giving away responsibility. I focus on my privilege. I focus on what I deserve, but I do not focus on my duties, my responsibilities. That's a bit uncomfortable. I don't want to deal with that yet. Like moving out of mom's house, getting a grip on my own life, getting a bit out of my own comfort and building what I want to build, that's a big problem for a lot of people, like taking responsibility. So spiritual teachings that say you're perfect the way you are, my goodness, they play right into that. Instagram is a reflection of that. Just search for the tag spirituality or spiritual life. There's nothing spiritual about it. It's a lot of nice colors, lots of selfies, lots of filters. Yeah, well, that's nice. It should never cover up true spirituality. True spirituality is about growth. It is a process of evolution, of ascension, of moving up. And you cannot move up if you block yourself with your beliefs. Impossible. So coming back to the original topic of this talk today, that how can you shape your beliefs in a way that they lift you up? So you have to become very observant. You have to see, okay, like what kind of beliefs are there right now within my mind that keep me in a state of suffering, tiredness, depression, exhaustion. Which kind of beliefs are depleting me? How do you think of yourself? What kind of person are you? Ask yourself that question, sit down in front of a piece of paper and write it out. Who do you think you are? What kind of person are you? Are you worthy of love? Are you really worthy of love? Are you worthy of respect? And you might find that lots of the answers to these kind of questions is no, if you're honest with yourself. Just keep that exercise private. You don't need to post it or publish it. Keep it private because then you can be honest. You don't have to show it to anyone else. So you can be completely, utterly honest. Sit down with a piece of paper, write it down. What kind of person am I? What are my negative traits? What are my positive traits? Where are my powers, my strengths? And where are my weaknesses? Where do I hurt? What do I dislike about myself? What do I appreciate about myself? What am I doing well every day? Where do I feel like a genuine sense of, oh yeah, I'm really doing well here. I'd enjoy hanging out with myself if I was my friends or somebody that I knew. Or I'd respect myself and I'd look up to myself if I was somehow knowing that person that I am. I might put a poster up on my rooms to motivate me. And that has nothing to do with glorifying yourself or thinking you're better than anyone else. It's just an honest assessment of how you feel about yourself. And how do you act in large groups? Do you kind of start becoming different? Do you walk differently? Do you talk differently? Do you feel ashamed when you're saying the wrong thing? When you get the look of another person? Do you sometimes feel like weird if you've messed up, if you said something that's kind of strange? And do you need to hide that? Do you edit, filter out your comments on Facebook? These are all like little things that you need to pay attention to. What is it that you're doing there? Are you trying to portray? How long do you take to write a comment? For some people, they try to write the perfect comment. How genuine are you when you're posting a smiley? Are you barely smiling, but you're posting this kind of laughing tears smiley? I'm in tears laughing. Even though you're not in tears laughing, you're just barely smiling. What's going on there? This is interesting. I'm not judging that. I'm just pointing out these kind of little habits that a lot of people have. That I know from myself, of course, otherwise I couldn't talk about them. Like, what do I want to be loved? How do I try to be loved? Am I worried about what others think of me? Why would I be worried if I really like myself? Why would I be worried about other people's thoughts? If I really was okay with myself, if I felt I'm okay, I belong, like every tree in the world belongs, like the wind belongs, like the rain belongs, like everything belongs. Do I feel I belong? So why then am I ashamed of myself? Why then do I have to act differently around people? Why do I have a public self and a private self? Are they out of alignment? Are they in alignment? Super interesting stuff. And it'll give you a lot of insight on your foundation of spiritual practice. You are the foundation of your spiritual practice. If you are out of whack, your spiritual practice is out of whack. You can meditate hours and hours and hours. The meditation practice will only fuel the personality that you are. Maybe you don't like yourself. So meditation, what will it turn into? It'll be an effort of someone not liking themselves, trying to become likable. Will that work? No. It'll only make you getting better at not liking yourself. You literally train not liking yourself. Right? So we need to be careful of these kind of things, because you might sit down for many years and cultivate something without knowing that you're always cultivating yourself underneath it. And if those habits if they remain hidden, they remain in the shadows, you also cultivate them. It doesn't matter whether you know or not. You cultivate it all. If you add energy to yourself through meditation practice, everything within you will grow. You are like a garden. The weeds will grow, the healing plants will grow, the beautiful plants will grow, everything will grow. Well, many people just think, oh, I just add energy and everything will be fine, and I'll be more intuitive, I'll be more powerful, I can advance quicker. Yes, it's true. But on the other hand, you'll be even more confronted with what you need to deal with. And that's good. So add energy to yourself. The way to do that I just showed you in the guided meditation. Fuel the body, give it vitality, give it energy, so you can ascend quicker. If you don't have any fuel, you cannot grow. Your mind cannot focus. Your mind will be scattered all over the place. So you want to have a mind that can focus, that is stable, that is strong. You need to add energy. Add energy to your body, to your mind, to your emotions. And then select what to let go, what to cultivate. What beliefs to let go, which ones to cultivate. And there are pesky little beliefs inside our mind. Trust me, it's really hard to figure them out. Some people believe they need to suffer. It's a deep kind of belief. It's very invisible, very subtle, but they feel somehow I need to suffer. And only when I suffer, I feel like it's legit. I'm really practicing right now because I'm suffering. I know that one well. This is a personal one. I feel like it's only valid if I break my arms and my legs and I sweat blood and tears and all that kind of stuff. Then it's real. If it's not, if it's just 20 minutes of meditation, that's not the real thing. So I have to work with that because it's one of my obstacles, and it feels like so heroic and powerful and good and right and just and all that. And part of it is right and just, but a large part of it is not. I need to make the difference and let go of what's not, what doesn't serve me. Right here simply means what I don't need, what doesn't serve me, what keeps me stuck. You might be meditating for years, you're not developing any skills. How come? You've got to ask yourself that question. You should evolve. After a year of meditation, after a month, a week, you should evolve massively if you do it right. It should not be the case that you do years and years, you do the same thing and you're like barely moving on. If you do the right thing, it just clicks into place. A large part of the path is learning what's right for you, what's correct for you. So, that's pretty much all that comes to mind for today. I hope that was useful.